Hi everyone, so my name is Gracie Wabara. I'm a K plus student at Safi New Hampshire University. So I'm now going to talk about the project called Validity and Credibility, which is under the goal, under the goal called Go Behind the News. So I'm going to talk about the three stories in this project. In this validity and credibility project. So there is in story one there is which has title called concern that terror teams have selected target and agreed to the strike. So it is from source which is the ABC News, and there is no date on this story. So in this story, it is in this story is self-contained or personality resource. I say this because it is independent and is self-evident. The evidence that is irrelevant to the piece of being published, and the site constantly shows how scared Europeans are about terrorist attack. So again, about the multiple source, this typically the story is based on the number of different sources, and I expressed this argument since the source was based on the terrorists from numerous European countries. The reporters have responded by creating their own website. As a result, they all recorded the similar messages. Also, verify vast asset. I have found that I have illustrated how reporters have documented how terrorists commit crimes across European using resource data or resource information. As a result of this, European and others have raised the issue of terrorism, and I can deduce from the wording that they have evidence pointing to them as prospective European terrorists. In addition, the reporters spotted different terrorist samples which are clear evidence. By jumping on the authoritative and informed versus uniformed, this source, in my opinion, I can say that is highly authoritative and well informed. I'm saying this because the reporters record information on suspected terrorist plots in Europe. The information in this resource demonstrates the author's understanding and familiarity with the topic. This is something I'm letting you know about this, about what I'm saying, and that combined several theories about prospective terrorists committing crimes in Europe. Until now, the existence of several intelligent visual symbols has suggested the understanding of experience with this subject. Again, the named versus unnamed about this source, it is obvious that the source are given name. It means that this was have a name, and to clarify this, the stories reporters were able to employ persons who could have been involved in this case. People from France, the British, and other countries are among them. I was able to see how they provided names and the persons who are in fact the source. Also, for instance, here there's the Pierre, Thomas, and Rama are their names of those persons. As a result of this, Pierre was interviewed by the Federal Bureau of Investigations terrorism case FBI George terrorists, according to the Rama, are intended to target England, as this from CFA resource. As far as I'm concerned, this story seems believable. About this, about to my opinion, if this story is a credible, why or why not. So as far as I'm concerned, this story seems to be believable, and this is because the main details confirm the story's believability, and they brought in people who weren't in the sector, from example, to boost the legitimacy of ideas. Additionally, I can see how they used or film or what the SARS to improve their credibility. About this, also, what questions are you what questions I can left with after reading or watching this story, throwing at the questions I have after finishing to read this book. Are some factors that are true? How did these terrorists decide to attack European first? Also, after reading this source, I can also ask again myself, is there really a fight going on between terrorists and European countries? So those are the front questions that I can ask myself after reading this source. By jumping on the another question, which is asking, does this article or video qualify as news? Why or why not? Yes, I can say that it's enough, and this is because it has references and the title that are really reliable to qualify this as news. So by jumping on the second story is from title. It has title called Walmart announces Great for You food rabbiring initiative. So the source is from the Walmart. So again, it has a date February 7th 2012. So this was the question is asking if this source is independent versus self-interested. I can say this source is self-interested. I can mention, or I can say this Sansti has vested interested its own success. With the help of my research, I come to this conclusion by saying that is self-interested, and the source data is clearly incorporated into the reporting of the narrative. As a result, this story taken a long time to show what is valuable to people, and to put it another way, it encourages the growth of both vegetables and the variety of food products, as mentioned by Walmart. Also, as a result, the source is connected to the tier because the information was provided to encourage the people to buy fruit and vegetable. To put another way, they should be well known as a wide range of the people. Also, the another question is asking multiple source, if it has multiple source versus one source. So this story was once again covered by a number of outlets. As you can see, various systems report different information. I spotted Phil King and Andre Thomas working for the people. So those are multiple sources as mentioned by the Walmart. Also, another question is asking to verify versus asset. So this source, the assertion could make use of the data from the source. That's how you persuade the audience to eat something. They were happy when they showed guests good cuisine such as veggies and fruit. Also, they use terms like "great for you" as well. In conclusion, this article is about statements since reporters use terms like "great for you" to express or to show their rights and receiving their message. Also, the question is asking if this second source is authoritative and informed by uninformed. Educated is authoritative source for this story, since it looks like the story reporters were aware of it. I'm telling you this because as result they captivating plot centered on excellent meals that people could have for dinner. I was made up for a variety of fruit and vegetables. They are on the other hand told also I can say that source of story knows and understand and is experience with the subject matter. This because the industry experts say they concentrated on the best meals. uh, uh Now the question is asking the name of if this source is named or unnamed. So the information's origin is unknown. Many reporters advertise wonderful meals for custom but they didn't identify themselves, express their names. So another is asking in my opinions to say if this story is credible and say why not. I believe the story is untrustworthy because for different reasons. The reporters is the owner of the company, which could be exaggerated since many people want their product to be known. They didn't show anyone who wasn't an employee of the company. As a result, this could be construed as deceptive. They should be able to recorrect the name of their company in general. As a result, I'm confident in claiming that the story is trustworthy. Yeah. Or another one is asking what questions I can raft with after reading or watching this story. I can say that after reading this second story, I can say that the following I can ask the question which are the following: what really is purpose of this story? Is it a real-time commercial in this story? Is it a real-time for advertising, or is the real-time commercial in this story? Would this be information required for everyone? Those are the questions that I can ask myself. The second one is asking, does this article or video qualify as news? Why or why not? I can say that my answer, that isn't isn't reality, and this because this is clarified as a vegetable advertising kind. As a result, in order to recognize the brand name, their words are overstated. Yeah, their names are overstated. By jumping on this the sad story, which has title of grief and protest for shooting of a teenager, and this source is from New York Times. The date is August 10, 2014. So the question is asking independent, if it is independent by self-interested. So this sad story has something that relates to the story. This implies that their personal information has no bearing on the source. In other words, the source and from the story's publication. The sources are not neutral because of the way they claim their information. existed to protect the adolescent who was killed by the police. As a result, it appeared that the sources are critical. Lastly, following the twins' death, the goal was to show others that they too were able to doing so. Yeah. Uh, about the by jumping on the second question about the sad story, is asking if it has multiple sources while one source. So the information was gathered or was from a variety or different sources, and it's clear and understandable that it was written by two people and the message is equal, as mentioned by the New York Times. Police and individuals or police and people use the materials as well. These are essential information source, and to be clear on this, the source drew on number of information sources based on how it was utilized by the others. Yeah. Another question is asking if it's verified verse or asset. This story, in my opinion, has details that have been verified for sure, and this is because they have presented a substantial amount of proof to back up their argument. So they use of photographs for they used photograph for example, and is considered proof. The identify of the child who was killed was also presented by the reporters, and they displayed this age displayed his age and the city in which he resided. This is significant evidence. So another question is asking if is authoritative and informed versus uninformed. So the author of the article is clearly competent and credible. This due to the fact that the information is provided in the form of concrete fact. This demonstrates that it is true. With this information, I was able to distinguish that they were covered the murder of the murder of an 18 years old teen, and they were also able to show that they knew what they were talking about. Consider how they manage their country's information to aid them in moving forward with reliable information. Another question is asking if is this source named versus unnamed. So this source is named in the story. As far as I can say, they named the people who were there to see the boys death. They were also introduced officers, include John Berma, the chief of the NAACP, and Esther Haywood, the deputy chief of the NAACP. Aside from that, they all included the source's name, which leads me to believe the story source is identified and named. The question is another question is asking if my opinion. I can say if this story is credible or not credible. This story is a very convincing story. The source, title, and date of publication are all given, and another kind of proof is usage of for the image. For sure, is credible. Yeah, it's credible. So another one is asking what question I can lift after reading this source. So here there is different question. Here is the question I left with after reading. Do innocent individuals still exist at these levels? I also asked the second question, what was the key reason for the police shooting of the boy? Why was the guy picked instead of the girls? Those are questions that I asked myself after reading this source. the last question about this sad story is asking, does this article or video qualify as news? Why or why not? So I can say that yes, that should be sufficient, and this is because they are regarded as trustworthy news when it comes to announcing the death of a person, so that everyone is aware of the issue or the problem happened. It also comes from a trustworthy source. Thank you very much. Those are information I had after reading three stories. Thank you.